So in this video we're going to be talking about embracing solitude, isolation, being alone, whatever you want to say. So the point of this video is to kind of explore just isolation and being alone, as well as talk about my own experience, as well as how you can use it to your advantage, as well as how to think about being alone instead of viewing it maybe as a negative, as a lot of people do. So first, let's talk about isolation and how to become better by being alone. So a lot of people view being alone as kind of a negative, but I would view it as a positive. Like for me, I don't actually mind the fact that I've spent a lot of time alone. I rarely ever regret that, because the time you spend alone, you can use it to develop yourself, you can use it to get a better physique, get more money, try new things, hobbies, go meet new people, do whatever you want, effectively. So I don't think there's any reason to be scared of being alone. A lot of people romanticize relationships and everything. But the thing is, being alone, and by being alone, you can develop yourself faster, you can do whatever you want, you can just, do everything you've ever wanted to do without having somebody telling you what to do. But just the growth you can get when you're alone, mentally, physically, spiritually, is much faster and at a higher level than what you would be in a relationship. Now, I'm not saying there's no benefits to relationships. There are definitely benefits to having a relationship. As in, if you were in a relationship, you could find new ways to level up. But I think a certain period of being alone and developing yourself is definitely necessary. Now, I'm gonna talk about social life a little bit later down this video, so I can get more into this topic of social life. But right now I just wanted to get to the point of being better by yourself and how to use that. So if you struggle with loneliness and things like that, it's definitely something to overcome, but I believe that's another thing which you have to look at and think to yourself, is this something I can change? Is this a mentality thing I need to change? Do you view being alone as a bad thing because you don't have anything to do and you kind of just wish you were in a relationship because you don't have any purpose or passion in life? So think about those things, and then think about if you should really be with somebody, or you should actually focus on leveling yourself up mentally. Especially a lot of people lack mentality, not so much the physicality looks always, but people just lack the mental strength to be alone because it's hard. So next I want to get into social life. So social life, relationships, friendships, whatever, family. View social life as an addition to your life, and especially relationships. Now, friendships are kind of I would say it's good to have friends, but you need to choose your friends well, because if you spend too much time with the wrong people, you're going to become like them. And bad friends in general just are going to waste your time. Don't waste your time in bad friends. Have good friends, find good friends. You would rather. A lot of toxic people have a lot of friends because the toxic people are friends with other toxic people. On the other hand, a lot of good people have very few friends because there's very few good people. So think about it like that. That's certainly the case in my life. I don't have a lot of friends because I don't view everybody's worth actually having as a friend, because most people are very toxic, or the way they think is not very high level, you could say. So they're usually not worth being friends with. Not to be rude or say there's anything wrong with them. They're just different, or they don't fit my lifestyle, or whatever. Relationships wise, you have to definitely pick your battles here very well, because if you pick the wrong battle and you get defeated, you will suffer immensely, immense casualties, and you will not be able to recover very easily. So pick your battles with relationships. It's very important. Don't get these high casualty battles where you're gonna lose a lot, because it's gonna slow you down. Then you have to rebuild your army. I'm just using a metaphor right here, but it's a perfect metaphor. You're going to have to rebuild yourself after every failure. So don't do it if it's not the right person. And hookups and things like that are kind of a waste of time. So it really depends what you want. Of course, if you like that, you can do it. If you don't, then don't. I don't tell people what to do, I just give my own perspective and what I kind of have applied in my own life, what I find what works in terms of social life. Everybody's different, of course. Everybody needs different things, but from my own experience, I know what wastes my time in social life and what wastes my time overall. So I'm just giving these tips to you from my perspective and what I've used in my own life. And that's how I think about social life is like, don't waste time on people that waste your time. Only find people who don't fit your life and don't waste your time, because time is all we have and you want to use that time effectively and live your best life. Now, social media. I'm just going to quickly touch on social media. So I think social media kind of does this to us, where it makes us feel like we're alone in a sense, because we might go on social media and see other people being with other people, and then we feel alone and whatever, when that's not the reality always. And we just see the best moments, and you can make yourself feel very alone if you're isolated already. So avoid toxic social media. Use what you can that educates you, and then leave the rest out. I would just say avoid the worst parts of it, and that's it. Like, there's nothing else to it really. Now I'm just gonna talk about my own experience with isolation and how I used it to become better. So when I was a bit younger, I used isolation as a way of kind of just taking time for myself and developing myself. I was in a place where I was in a dark place, and I was very, you could say, in a need of development. So I wanted to self-develop myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, so that I could be a better person and find somebody who I actually want to partner up with, and to find the friends that I need. So I kind of needed to cut everything out of my life, to an extent. Not really like family and things like that, but like most friends and whatever were cut out. I kind of started from a fresh slate completely, and I started going to the gym, reading books, developing my mentality, just learning a lot of new things, and over time exposing myself and what kind of addictions I have, and getting rid of my addictions slowly, and just spending a lot of time alone to learn and develop myself in different ways. And I'm very glad I spent that time alone, and the thing I learned from spending that time alone is I did the right thing. Because I've seen a lot of people who waste a lot of time in like relationships, and they break up and then they get heartbroken and whatever, and they waste a lot of time that they could have used to develop themselves. And at the end of the day, while I might have experienced socially less, and of course I might have maybe a little bit less social development, but you can catch up pretty fast, and I have. But the thing is, when I was socializing less, I was spending a lot of time on myself, and I was rapidly leveling up. And now that kind of has compounded, where I feel very good about myself and I feel more social. I have better opportunities, and everything's just better in my life because I spent that time alone. There was hard times, but I honestly felt very content in those like maybe couple of years that I spent by myself. Like, I felt very content, like spending like a year or two. I wasn't like socially isolated or anything, but I spent quite a lot of time alone and just working. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience, and I learned a lot. And I feel like it definitely put me in a position where I'm at now, where I feel very good socially, mentally, physically, financially, better. And I just achieved a lot in a short period of time. I don't really like to go on my personal life and details in these videos that much. I just talk about my own experience in like a basic level, what I've done, so you can get an idea and relate, and perhaps learn something from my things that I've applied in my life. So isolation truly, I think, is a gift, and you should use it well. Don't neglect your social life though, because we are humans and social creatures. We need socializing because it's simply part of us, and we have that need, just like eating food or something. It's not a base need, as if we can't survive without it, but it's kind of, so you don't go insane. But anyways, that's my experience with it. It's definitely good to take some time to develop yourself and think about yourself, what you want, and to figure your life out, because it definitely helps in the long run. Now, if you're isolated not by choice, and you're like lonely, then I would suggest is develop yourself and go out and socialize and meet new people, because that's the only way to get better. It's like nobody's gonna grab you from your home, so go out and meet people, even if it's uncomfortable. You have to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if there's a will, there's a way. See you in the next video, and I hope this helped.